Before you assume this doesn't apply to you, answer me one question. Have you ever said something completely normal and watched the other person's energy quietly drop while you were still talking? It's not what you said. In almost every case, it's not your words at all. It's how you sounded saying them. A small handful of vocal habits you picked up without noticing that quietly signal older and lower energy to anyone listening, regardless of how sharp your mind actually is. Today, I'm walking through 7 of them. We'll start with the easiest fix and build up to the habit that experts say has the single biggest impact on how energetic or how tired you actually sound to another person, often before they've even registered what you said. Welcome back to Sharp After 50. Episode 1 covered how you dress. Episode 2 covered the habits underneath that: your hair, your skin, your handshake, your posture, your resting expression. This one goes further still, because none of that matters much if the moment you open your mouth, you sound older than you look. Let's get into it. Here's something worth knowing. People judge your energy and age from your voice almost as fast as they judge it from your face. Pace, volume, and tone register before the actual content of your sentence does. Most of these signals are pure habit. Once you know what they are, they're fixable in days, not months. None of this is about performing a different personality. It's about making sure the way you speak is actually working for you, instead of quietly working against you. Number 7, trailing off at the end of sentences. A lot of men let their volume drop and their words blur together right at the end of what they're saying, as if the sentence isn't worth finishing at full strength. It reads as low energy, even when the content is completely fine. Here's what to do this week. Pick one conversation a day and consciously finish every sentence at the same volume you started it. Don't let the last 2 words fade out. It feels slightly unnatural at first. That's normal, and it goes away fast. Number 6, rushing without pauses. Talking fast with no breathing room reads as nervous energy, not sharpness. Most people think speed makes them sound quick-witted. It actually does the opposite. It makes you harder to follow and easy to tune out. Here's what to do this week. After you make a real point in conversation, pause for 1 full second before continuing. Silence feels longer to you than it does to the other person. Use it on purpose instead of racing past it. Number 5, outdated filler phrases. Certain phrases, back in my day, kids these days, in my time, do something specific the moment they leave your mouth. They don't just date you. They signal you're about to disengage from the present conversation and retreat into a story about the past. Here's what to do this week. Notice if you reach for one of these phrases this week and swap it for describing the actual point you're making instead of the era you're making it from. The story can stay. The framing is what needs to go. Number 4, speaking too quietly to be heard the first time. If people regularly ask you to repeat yourself, that's not a hearing problem on their end. It's usually a volume and projection habit on yours. Being asked to repeat yourself even once quietly signals frailty. Here's what to do this week. In your next few conversations, deliberately speak about 20% louder than feels natural. It will feel too loud to you. It almost never is to the room. Number 3, leading with a complaint. Weather, health, traffic, how tired you are. These are the default openers for a lot of men once they hit 50, and they're one of the fastest ways to signal low energy before the real conversation has even started. Here's what to do this week. Catch yourself before your next complaint opener and swap it for a genuine question about the other person instead. How's your week been does more for how you're perceived in 5 seconds than almost anything else on this list. Number 2, only talking about yourself. Conversations that are one-directional, where you talk and the other person mostly listens, read as self-focused and, over time, as older and set in your ways, even if that's not remotely true of you. Here's what to do this week. In your next conversation, ask at least 2 follow-up questions before you bring the topic back to yourself. It's a small ratio shift, and people notice it immediately, even if they couldn't tell you why. Number 1,
a flat, monotone delivery. This is the habit that has the single biggest impact of anything on this list, and it's the vocal twin of something we covered last episode. Just like a flat resting expression reads as tired and closed off, a flat monotone voice reads as low energy, regardless of what you're actually saying or how you actually feel. This isn't about being loud or performing enthusiasm all day. It's about noticing when your voice has gone flat in ordinary moments, a phone call, a quick hallway conversation, and adding a small amount of natural inflection back in. Here's what to do this week. Once a day, catch yourself mid-sentence and ask, is there any life in my voice right now, or am I just reciting words? If it's flat, put a little rise and fall back into it, the way you naturally do when you're telling a story you actually care about. That's the entire exercise. It compounds fast. Let's bring it together. We started with trailing off at the end of sentences, then rushing without pauses, then outdated filler phrases. We moved into speaking too quietly to be heard the first time, leading with a complaint, only talking about yourself, and finally, the habit that outweighs everything else, a flat, monotone voice. None of this requires a new personality or a speech coach. Most of it costs nothing and takes seconds a day. It requires noticing habits you picked up without meaning to and deciding they don't have to stay automatic. If this gave you one thing you're going to fix this week, tell me which one in the comments. I read every one, and it shapes what we cover next. Subscribe to Sharp After 50, and I'll see you in the next one.